Hey cool, the Repopulation just hit Steam and dropped their NDA. Why do I say that? Well, I feel like this game is way too early in development to be giving everyone a peek at the game. While you may need the funding that Steam brings in, having people see your game this rough will probably hurt potential sales. Just saying. Anywho, I'm gonna give this game a lot of slack for a couple of reasons. 1. It is still very early in development. 2. It is a Kickstarter MMO with not a lot of funding, so yeah, some slack will be cut. But if you are an interested buyer, I feel like you should know what you're getting into. Now keep in mind, this is still early in development, as I've already said multiple times, so anything that I criticize is so that you, the consumer, know what you're currently getting for your money, and to help the developers improve. And plus, things are probably going to change quite a bit. At least I hope. The Repopulation is a sci-fi sandbox MMO in the vein of Star Wars Galaxies or Ultima Online, except less Ultima Online because this game doesn't have dragons. Oh, never mind. Robo-dragons are apparently a thing. Let's start with character creation. Immediately, you will begin to see some of the problems with this stage of the game. It be ugly, but granted, graphics aren't everything, and luckily you'll have a lot of sliders to tweak in an attempt to make yourself less ugly. Good luck with that. Oh dear god, that's terrifying. So you'll pick from one of two factions, and you'll also pick your starting armor. There are different armor types, and each offers a different range of benefits, such as damage absorption, energy amount, energy regeneration, etc. You'll have to figure out which one is best for you and your playstyle. I just picked the one that made me look cool. Ish. Still ugly though. You'll then be loaded into the tutorial area. Here you'll learn all the basic commands, and you'll also learn you're a clone, which explains why there's lots of people who look the same running around, and how you can simply respawn when you die. I'm also guessing this has something to do with the name The Repopulation, although cloning sounds far less fun than the other way I thought the Repopulation would work. This tutorial area is where you will acquire all of your skills. Being a sandbox, you don't actually pick a class. Instead, you pick skills. You'll be given 3 training certificates, and can choose from medicine, revival, several different weapon varieties. Let's see, there's fist fighting, bladed weapons, blunt weapons, rifles, automatic weapons, and a lot more. Skills are activated by using them on the action bar, and every so often when you use a skill, you will gain proficiency in that skill, like river dancing. If you can call it that. Actually, dancing gives you and others around you a buff, which I think is pretty cool. Combat is basic hotkey combat, but you can switch to a more action-oriented interface, which doesn't really change the fact that it's faux action combat. Can't fool me in your fancy schmancy mouse-look repopulation. I guess I'll use it. Eventually, you'll leave the tutorial area. This is when the game becomes a bit more of a sandbox. At this point, you can go and do whatever you want. I opted to stick around and do some missions that I was given via in-game mail. Here is where the game I feel has a little more need for improvement. The map doesn't work very well. Half the time I couldn't figure out where to go, which is fine if that's what the developers were going for. I do love exploration, but somehow I don't think that was their intent. The rest of my time in-game was spent doing these missions and whatever else I felt like. I killed a lot of stuff, ran a couple errands, died a couple times, and at the end of the day, the game shows a lot of promise. But it does need a lot of work. Here's my list of things that could use some improvement. Developers, just take this as a list of things to work on, not as a list of complaints. Okay? 1. Animations are pretty ugly and some look downright awkward. 2. The game's optimization is pretty poor at this point. I couldn't get a decent frame rate at any setting, but maybe that's just me. 3. Text runs all over the place and sometimes you can't even read it. You could make this into a challenging minigame of sorts, or you could make it work. Either way's good. 4. Combat is boring and lacks impact. I'll call it impact. You know what, better yet, I'll call it oomph. Yeah, that's a good technical term. Oomph. It lacks oomph. 5. The graphics are, well, yeah. Someone get a color palette up in here. Everything seems to blend together in shades of gray and brown and bleh. Basically, if you're wanting to buy into the Repopulation to help fund the game, then I'd say go for it. I think there's something here, and once the game's complete, it could be amazing. But if you're looking to buy into this as a full-featured MMO to play right now, you're probably going to be disappointed. My years at the Dance Academy will not have been in vain. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to visit MMORPG.com for all of your MMO-related news. And if you like this video, make sure to visit my YouTube channel for more silly videos.